Thank you so much. This is Lisa Steinberg with Starry Constellation Magazine. So nice to have the opportunity to speak with you today.
Marvelous to talk to you too. Thanks so much for making the time.
I feel like I should have joined with a margarita and like kind of start things off before we pour it out. Or in a sense, this is sort of us pouring it out in a way as well.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
Well, I had the wonderful opportunity to speak to Carson the other day, and he told me that each season has like a special theme to it, in a sense. And he says that he was told that this one was the espresso season.
Well,
And-
that was our tempo more than our theme. Our
okay.
theme was actually seize your passion. But we said that we were gonna step up the pace of this season, and so it was our espresso season.
I mean, I was asked, but yeah, reflecting and having watched season four. It definitely feels like that heightened senses, whether it's, like the fast forward, like for the holidays and time period that has occurred between the two seasons, three and four, but also so much of what transpires throughout the season is like you're like you're trying to think about something or you're trying to catch your breath about something or you're on the edge about something and then like something else is just like happening and you don't have that moment to really like think back, but that's also sort of all what makes it such a great rewatch at the same time too in my eyes.
Well, I appreciate that. We felt that we had reached a point with our actors truly knowing their characters, our audience truly knowing Serenity, that we could dig more deeply into relationships and questions and all the rest of that. And when we decided that we wanted to shake up everybody's course at once, that sort of necessitated moving quickly to follow the shockwaves.
Yes, yes. I was gonna say, I mean, there's so much growth that we've seen between all of the characters, but also the town as a whole,
Hmm.
in itself. And I feel also this season, um, although there's like the maturity, they need each other even more so now than ever to keep those bonds connected, to keep those relationships tethered. And I feel like there's like an invisible string, like an invisible red line that kind of goes all the way around Serenity, like, connecting neighbor to neighbor, connecting family to family, connecting friend to friend, like religious to religious. It has this great core where, if you tug another string or you look at another string, it's gonna come right back in another
Oh,
different
abs
direction.
Well, I'm so glad you saw all of that because while the root of our show is certainly the power of female friendship, we exhibit that throughout the series by showing the amazing community that encircles our ladies, which they have had a huge hand in building. But we have always said from the first season, we want everyone to see themselves in Serenity. So we want to make sure that the warmth and inclusive nature of the town is present in everything we do and everyone you meet.
Yeah, there's such a strong core to this series, between the characters and the storytelling and everything, feels so relatable, and it has this great immersive feeling to watching this show. And that's also something that I kind of talked to Carson about the other day when I spoke with him as well, is that it's got this great lens where you're a part of the audience, but you're also a part of Serenity at the same time. And I wanted to ask you a little bit about how you kind of cultivated that lens that we get to see, or that perspective, from audience to kind of, feeling like we're a part of the series just as much as well.
Well, we really wanted to create a community that people would long to be a part of. I remember when we shot our very first Margarita Night, season one, I told our producing director that I wanted the camera to be the fourth woman at Margarita Night. And so we do design the seasons um, with the opportunity for the audience to lean in, not not passively, but as concerned neighbors and friends of these people we've all come to love, whether we want to celebrate with them or whether we want to grieve with them or whether we want to help them find their way forward. We want the viewers to feel that there is space and serenity for them to walk alongside our characters. And that's why we emphasize the emotion of every story.
The cinematography and every really the production does a remarkable job of doing that, and I wanted to commend you and say thank you for feeling like we can again pour it out whether it's a milkshake or pour it out whether it's a margarita, and feel like we've got that comfort. Even like a reprieve of escapism from like what we may be going through on our day, but also something that can relate and be resonating at the same time just as much as well.
It in a fractured world, we feel the best thing that we can offer people is light and hope. And an occasional good laugh and maybe occasionally a good cry, but more the light and hope of these are the things that are possible when you love your neighbor, when you really invest in your friends, when you are willing to help others, because as we've had the ladies say more than once, when you help somebody else, that means somebody else is going to be there to help you. And frankly, that's the kind of neighborhood I want to live in. That's the kind of world I want to live in. And so it's always a mission of the writer's room to infuse the scripts with that kind of warmth. And then we're very fortunate to have a brilliant DP and brilliant department heads across the board who also infuse the visual aspect of the show with that same warmth. And then I will argue one of the best casts out there who just lay their hearts on the table day after day.
Yeah, I can recognize, part of myself in Helen. I can recognize part of myself in, Dana Sue and everybody. When growing up, I could have, I can be, Annie's character. I can be, might see my brother in, Ty's character, and uh, you know, the character of Ty, and there's someone either you've known or is in in your family, maybe that you can see reflected on screen, maybe a family member or friend, someone amongst your own community or some
Well,
connection there.
I'm so delighted to hear that because we spend a lot of time in the writer's room talking about, well, my brother and I went through this thing, or my sister and I went through this thing, or I remember when my mother, my grandmother, my pastor, my aunt, my high school English teacher, in a show like ours, I'm eager to have people feel comfortable enough to share from deep within themselves, whether it's a happy story or a more serious story. And I think that emotional authenticity shows in the scripts, and then the actors take it and run with it and go beautiful places with it.
Well, speaking of beautiful places, which is Serenity, of course. There's a few people who pop in this season, and one I know that was teased about or announced at least was a special guest, Jodie Benson.
Mhm.
Is there anything you can say about the connection we'll get to see? I know the season, of course, here is coming February 6th, which is just a few days away, so everybody will get to binge at the same time.
Right,
But is there
right.
anything you can say about her?
I first of all, we were all thrilled that Jody said yes. And I can promise that Jodie plays a very important part in unlocking emotional territory we haven't seen before.
Okay. We talked a lot about the production. We talked a lot about the incredible writing and storytelling behind the series. But I also wanted to talk about these wonderful directors. We get to see so many diverse directors as part of each season. And if I'm wrong, but Joanna gets to be amongst them this season as well. And I wanted to talk to you a little bit about how working with her, both as far as, behind the scenes as director and behind the lens in a way as director, and the duality that we'll get to see or get to watch coming up this season, working with Joanna in both capacities.
Um, I was not surprised. I was just incredibly happy and super proud. She did such a great job. And she did her homework. She came early. She really studied with our producing director and our DP, and she talked to the department heads, and she had directors' meetings with the actors. I mean, she took this really, really seriously, inhabited the role fully, and still delivered her usual top-notch performance in the episode, which was amazing to watch. And I have always known she was incredibly talented, so it didn't surprise me when she said, "Hey, I would love to direct." And everybody was so happy to offer her whatever extra insight, help, guidance she needed. And she didn't need that much because she had come fully prepared and very open about, I have a question about this. What would you recommend? What would the DP recommend? And just her usual marvelous level of collaboration, but just seeing it from behind the camera, it was really exciting. We actually had two first-time directors this season. We had Joanna and our co-EP, Matt Drake, also. He's directed other things, but this was his first episodic directing. And I thought it was Serenity at its finest, that everybody was like, what can we do? How can we help? But both of them just were ready and not hesitant at all about going for what they wanted. And they're great episodes. So it was a pleasure and an honor to be able to present Joanna with her directorial debut.
Well, I'm looking forward to the big fan reaction coming out here in the next couple of days when the new season of Sweet Magnolias drops. I would be remiss if I didn't ask, after 4 seasons, what continues to, I guess, really imprint on you and resonate with you as being a part of the showrunner, but also, watching the series through your eyes just as much as well, whether it's, being a part of like the production side or, getting to watch the episodes on your own, maybe, if you can, watch them back yourself and see, the growth and the light and the love that this series really provides in both ways.
Um, every step of this journey, and please God, may it continue, um, has given me the opportunity to marvel at what can be accomplished when you gather really talented people together who share a common goal and respect what the other people are bringing to the table. I'm a big believer that the best work comes from a place of joy. Um, we have a saying on the show, we work too hard not to have a good time. So, when people are enjoying what they're working on and enjoying what the show says, I think you just get that extra investment from everybody. And they tease me because I'll sit in Video Village and cry because it's just so beautiful. I mean, it may be a scene that we've gone over and over and over again in the writer's room and then in the production drafts and everything else, but to see this incredible cast backed by this amazing crew bring it all to life and then it exceeds my expectations, that's joy to me. So I love it. It's it can be tough, but what job can't be? So I'm delighted to be doing what I love, surrounded by people I love, and putting a message out that we all believe in.
Well, I again would just, I'm echoing you that I hope that there's a season five and that we get to continue these really compelling, remarkable, exemplary, strong female-led stories, and we get to see such a diverse way that they're being told and being shared. So,
Thank you.
thank you for being a part of the show and bringing this show to life and just sharing the spirit that it gives to the audiences. I can watch it with my mom. I can watch it with my sister. I can watch it with, a younger relative. I can watch it, like with, anybody can watch together or watch alone and find that catharsis. So thank you for your
Well,
time today and thank you
thank
for
you
this
for saying
wonderful
so, because that's our goal. Everybody can watch together or by themselves and still be lifted up.
Well, thank you for your time. I wish you all the best here with the season four release and hope I'll have the opportunity to chat with you again for season five.
I hope so too. Thank you so
Thank you.
much. It was a pleasure to meet you.
Pleasure as well. Thank you.